Planeswalkers, Trainers, Duelists, and Tamers. Welcome! Before we get into today's video, I wanted to give a shout out to Drunk Shuckle on YouTube. He posts Pokemon content as well. He goes really deep into retro formats, talks a lot about the cards, the different decks and strategies. He goes over underrated cards. He'll take a specific Pokemon and go through the history of it and its representations within the TCG. He'll go and do videos about different toys and Pokemon memorabilia. He's a great guy. I've talked to him a few times on Facebook. It's really nice. I'm very jealous of his playmat collection. He's got some gorgeous mats on his videos. And he is not only my favorite Pokemon YouTuber, but he's my actual favorite YouTuber just in general. I'm subscribed to him, and he's the only YouTuber that I actually have the notification bell for. So anytime he uploads a video, I get a notification so I know immediately. Certainly, if you're enjoying my content, feel free to do so as well. Subscribe, share it with your friends, and if you want to know as soon as I upload a video, turn that notification bell on so you can get notified too. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below. Go check him out. So with that out of the way, we'll get Dragonite out of the way. We'll talk about formats. So what exactly do I mean when I use the word format, and what am I talking about? Let's look at Mario Kart. So this is Mario Kart for the Wii. This is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Switch. These are both Mario Kart. You drive different courses with Mario and his pals. The courses that you're on are different in each game. The items that you use are different in each game. The characters you can drive as are different in each game. But at the core, they're still both Mario Kart. Take a look at Mario Party. This is Mario Party 6 for the GameCube. It's actually my first Mario Party game, and it's my favorite. Mario Party Superstars for the Switch. They're both Mario Parties. They're both board games on a video game. You travel around the boards, Mario and his friends, you're chasing stars. The way you get stars is different. The boards you play on are different. The mini games that you play with, the characters you can play as, they're all different. But at the core, at the end of the day, you're still playing Mario Party. It's the same game, even though it's a different game. With me so far? Cool. That is basically formats for trading card games. So like Magic, for example, has Commander. This is probably the most popular format. You take a legendary creature card. This is Corvold, the Fakehurst King. And you build a deck with 99 other cards that kind of supplement Corvold and what his strategy is. He's my favorite commander. There's also Standard, which uses cards from the past like year and a half or 2 years worth of sets. That's a rotating format, which means that as newer cards come out, the older cards will rotate out of legality for play. There's Modern, which uses cards from the Modern card frame and beyond. That has a ban list. So there's certain cards that even though they would normally be legal to play with, you can't play with them currently. That usually fluctuates. They'll update the ban list every few months or so. Pokemon has a standard format as well. Now they've started using these letter regulators to see which cards are legal. So right now we have D, E, and F. So any Pokemon card that has one of these letters on it is legal for standard play. Once Scarlet and Violet come out, we will be shifting to G. And all the cards with D on them will rotate. So you can only use E, F, and G. And so on and so forth. So retro formats, a little bit different. Those are considered closed formats. Those do not change, and they don't update. So Base Fossil is probably the most popular Pokemon retro format. It uses all the cards between Base Set and Fossil. Sometimes it uses Black Star promos. That's really going to be up to your play group. So whoever you're going to be playing this with, you're going to want to talk to them about which cards they want to use and think about which cards you want to use. But basically, the first card from Base Set, Alakazam, and the last card from Fossil, Mysterious Fossil. So every card between these two are the only cards that you can play in base fossil format. That comes out to about 200 and something, in like the mid 200s. And that doesn't sound like a lot by today's standards. Most expansions for different card games have more than that in just one set. And to think that that is 3 sets, those are the only cards that you can use. It sounds like it's a little limiting, and it sounds like you might get bored if you haven't really played it or kind of, experienced it before. But I liken it to chess in the sense that it's easy to learn, but it's very difficult to master. For example, you might like Venusaur, like me, and you want to use a deck focused around Venusaur. So what does Venusaur do? Well, he has Solar Beam, which does 60 damage for 4 energy, which is an alright attack. But his Pokemon Power Energy Trans lets you move Grass Energy between your Pokemon any way you see fit. So that has a lot of applications. And as you look at the cards and research the cards and go through, you can kind of come up with different combinations and strategies of cards to use. The most popular partner with Venusaur is going to be the Pokemon Center Trainer card. You remove all damage counters from all of your own Pokemon with damage counters on them, and then discard all energy cards attached to those Pokemon. So, you can distribute your energy differently among your Pokemon, keep your opponent kind of in the dark about who you're going to be attacking with and what your main strategy is. Then you can move all your energy to one of your Pokemon that isn't damaged, and use Pokemon Center to heal all your Pokemon that are damaged, and then Venusaur's Energy Trans can move those energy back to whoever you want to attack with. So that's a pretty popular combo. The moniker comes from Venusaur and Pokemon Center. The decks are often called Venus Center. But a lot of Venus Center decks, while they're going to have the same similar core, you might have different Pokemon in them. You might have different trainer lineups in them. So even though there's only going to be a certain number of combinations, there's going to be different people that are playing different combinations and different people that are playing those different combinations in different ways. A lot of people will use different styles when they're playing. Some people are more aggressive. Some people are slower and they like to kind of control the game more. So there's a lot of diversity and open-endedness to explore. You don't really stop learning. The format doesn't become solved. Despite the fact that these are, well over 20 years old, Lickitung and Kangaskhan are absolute all-stars right now. When you're playing this format, people love these cards. They will tech them into a lot of different decks. But back in the day, they really didn't see a ton of play. Definitely not nearly as much as they do now. So even looking at the formats with a retrospective lens, you will learn more. They will develop. A lot of the times they'll be cyclical where, a card will become more popular. So whatever card beats that card will become more popular to stop it. Whatever beats that will become more popular to stop it. 2 or 3 times down the original card that people were trying to beat doesn't have its counter anymore because it got countered. So then that rises in popularity. So it's almost like a seasonal thing. But there's new techs and new strategies that are being developed and different ways to play. Sometimes games are decided by a single play or misplay. Sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. It's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy these cards. Just so much raw nostalgia from even just looking at them. The different artworks, the different Pokemon. If you were playing something, even it doesn't even have to be Pokemon. If you were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic back in the day, with a lot of the older cards, I'm sure those are going to evoke some memories when you see those, and the feeling of being able to play them again, if maybe they're not legal anymore, or they've been power crept out of the format that you're playing. It sparks joy to be able to use these cards again. And the last piece that I really want to touch on is kind of building a retro collection. A lot of people think it's expensive, and especially with COVID and the Pokemon boom that we had, it can get pretty expensive. This Venusaur is actually in really good condition, which I'm happy about. This is right now on TCG Player, probably between $40 to $80. If you're going to build the Venus Center deck, you're typically going to want anywhere from like 2 to 4 of these. So that, if you get a good condition one, you're looking at a couple $100. And that's just for, one card. That doesn't include the Bulbasaurs, the Ivysaurs, the different trainer cards, the different energy cards and things you might need. But with the 25th anniversary celebration set, the Classic Collection reprinted a lot of the old cards throughout Pokemon's history. So this Venusaur, same artwork, same hit points, same Pokemon power, same attack. Playability-wise, it's the same card. This one's about $3 to $4 right now. So the reprints and things make the format a lot more accessible. The originals are still going to hold their value, especially for collectors. And if you want to use them, maybe you've been playing for a while, and you say, okay, I really enjoy this. This is a hobby I want to invest in and put my time into. Like a retiree that's kind of fixing up an old hot rod. They don't do it overnight. It's a process. So maybe you say, okay, well, I really like this deck. I want to bling it out and get, maybe first edition shadowless copies of all the cards and different things like that to kind of, pimp out your decks and your collection. But the cards won't rotate out of legality. They won't lose playability. They won't be power crept out of the format. They won't be banned. Once you own them until you get rid of them, which is something that I really like of how convenient it is to kind of hop in and out of playing a retro format. A lot of people aren't kids anymore. We might have started this hobby as children, but we're adults with, careers and families, and it's not easy to dedicate a specific day every week to go and play competitively. It's not easy to keep up with the market. It's not easy to keep up with the meta of, okay, which cards are coming out, which cards are they banning, which cards are doing well, which cards aren't doing well. And especially if you're playing multiple games, it's taxing and it's tough. And if you take, a couple weeks off, even, a couple months off, and then you want to get back to playing, your deck might not be legal anymore. It might be completely outclassed by newer cards. Your opponent might sit down and they're playing cards you've never seen before. And the ability to take that break, catch up on your real life stuff, come back, and your Venusaur deck is going to be fine. Your opponent, they're playing a Hitmonchan, they're playing a Mewtwo, they're playing a Blastoise. That deck is going to be, how you remember it. There's only so many cards to learn. Like I said, it's easy to learn, it's difficult to master, and it's worth the time and the effort and the investment to put into it. I'm going to be releasing more videos about base fossil format. Eventually, I plan on doing other formats. I think I might pivot to Yu-Gi-Oh! Do a lot of GOAT format. I've been playing that online lately. I enjoy that, and looking at some of those cards. But got some more Pokemon vids on the way. We're going to be doing Scarlet and Violet cards as well as those come out. That's going to be later this spring. So stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed the video and you like learning about retro formats and formats in general, definitely leave a like. If you have any questions or you want to learn about anything specific, feel free to ask in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.